Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. You excited for this, Jenny?
Yeah, I feel awkward.
Yeah, awesome. That's going to be super fun. Hey, everyone. Okay, so Jenny is my roommate. I am Jenny's roommate. And we decided to start a podcast just for fun because we have the most amazing conversations. And so we thought we would have fun and kind of share a little behind the scenes on our life with you guys. So let's do it, Jenny. You ready to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's give them a quick introduction to who we are. Okay. You go first.
You go first.
No problem. Okay, hi everybody. I'm Katrina. I am a career break and sabbatical coach, which we can talk more about later on in the podcast. But I'm here in Asheville for the summer. So I have been a digital nomad for a little over 4 years and finally decided to settle down for a bit. So I decided to come to Asheville for the summer, and we will talk about how that led me to Jenny, who I did not know before I moved here. But yeah, I'm off seeing the world and decided to park it here for the summer and be this person's roommate. So that's me.
Yeah, I got lucky with my roommate. I'm Jenny. I'm a life coach. I am about to start grad school to be a counselor if I follow through with it. And yeah, I have lived alone for a long time and decided to get a roommate. And I'm happy that I made that decision. And we have really great conversations, but that's why we're doing this. So, yeah, I guess I'll save the rest.
Okay.
For later.
Okay, so I think it would be fun because I know some people that follow me online have wondered, like, why Asheville? You have a roommate? Like, why do you have a roommate? Who is this roommate? So I thought it would be really fun to tell you guys about how we met because it was a little unconventional. Okay, so I'll go first, Jenny, but I would love to know like your experience of having these roommates. So from my experience, it went kind of like this. I had a bunch of big goals I wanted to work on. So I wanted to get back in shape. So I'm 42 and I feel like I've really neglected my fitness for a long time. Being a nomad made it hard for me to find a gym, have a trainer, really get serious about working out. So I wanted to get in shape. I wanted to actually like be able to date in an easy way instead of, hey, I'm passing through your town and I'm here for 3 days. If you want to meet up, it's more like, oh, hey, I live here. We can go have coffee. And the other big one was I wanted to really focus on my business. So packing up, moving, traveling, managing time zones got really complicated. So I decided I wanted to settle somewhere, but I couldn't find the right place and I had a budget and it was just hard to find a cool city and a cool place to be with my limited budget. So I happened to tell a friend who is a travel writer and also sort of, had nomadic stints as well. And she was like, oh, okay, wow. I have a friend who lives in Asheville. She's looking for a roommate, but short term, like 3 months. I can't promise you anything, but I should put you guys in touch. And I was like, yeah, please do. So this is like in February. So we get in touch. I think I like followed Jenny on Instagram and was like, hey, we should catch up. So we had a conversation and I thought it went really well. And we both were kind of looking for similar things for the exact same amount of time. And she lived in Asheville and she has this gorgeous house with an entire like second bedroom, bathroom situation. So like, privacy and lots of great space. And I was like, okay, but it wasn't the right time. And I wasn't sure if it was ever going to be the right time, but life goes on. I'm traveling around. My grandma had a heart attack. She like was in the ICU, unexpectedly, of course. And I just had a lot to take care of and a lot of things to think through. But then one moment I finally realized like, if Jenny's still around and still looking for a roommate, I'm ready to do this. So I texted her like, this is the day I could move. I could pay this much for the first month since it's a half month. And then, like 3 months from there, whatever, does this work for you? And I didn't hear back from her for like 2 weeks.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. Like she maybe found someone, right? Like I didn't feel like she owed me. She didn't owe me anything. So it's okay.
I was going through something.
Yeah. But I didn't take it personally. And I was just like, whatever's meant to be like, it's totally fine. I'll figure something out. And then I remember I was in Atlanta visiting my sister and I just was like in this place where I was like thinking about what was going to come next. And I just got this text message from Jenny while I was holding my phone and looking at it. It like popped up with her text message. And it was like, if you're still, sorry, I didn't see this until now. If you're still interested, my answer is yes. And I was like, okay, done. And that was it. And then like 2 weeks later, I had packed up all my stuff and moved to Asheville and moved in with a person I had never met and I had talked to once on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it like for you, Jenny? Like,
yeah. Yeah, so I have this friend, Catherine, and I met her online. We were both trying to like start our own businesses.
This is our, we have a third roommate. His name is Rafi. He might make an appearance, or at least his tail.
So yeah, I met Catherine online because there was this woman, Natalie Sisson, the suitcase entrepreneur, and she was doing a course on how to start an online business, and I met her through there. And I just, one day we were just kind of like, we should meet in person, and then we stayed friends. And I had told her, I think, that I was like thinking about getting a roommate. I have been in Asheville almost 2 years now, and I've lived alone. And I came here, I was like going through a lot of things, and I felt like I needed to be alone when I got here. I just like needed to not worry about other people's stuff. I was like, I'm done. And so that felt good for a while, and then it didn't. And she was like, oh, like I know somebody who like might be interested. And then I talked to you, and it just felt like kind of like a happy medium, like you wanted a place, it sounded like, but maybe not long term. So like there was room to like feel it out and keep it open-ended. And you seemed like such a cool person. And it also seemed like you were a little bit unsure.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna push her. And then I guess that's when you didn't hear from me because I was like, okay, like I'm just whatever.
I think you were doing a sabbatical maybe too,
Oh,
where
yeah.
you had sort of like turned your phone off or weren't like, yeah.
So yeah, I do this sometimes. Yeah. so it just felt like you were a person that I wanted to know better, but it also just felt like we were both a little bit unsure maybe, or it wasn't the right time. And then like it just got to a point where it just felt like, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I remember like you started like wanting to have a roommate about April.
Yeah.
And so I remember you reached out and you were like, hey, no pressure. Like, I don't want to pressure you, but like, do you know what you're thinking? Because I'm going to start looking. But then when I had reached out, I think you were like, yeah, I didn't look. Like I didn't find anyone.
Yeah. Well, I was just like, it got to a point where like I needed a roommate more than wanted a roommate, which is like not a fun energy to look for roommates with. And but I was also like really overwhelmed with life stuff. So it was like the needing a roommate made me too overwhelmed to look for one. Yeah. And then because I like it felt urgent that I get like at one point it felt urgent that I get one, but I think you weren't ready, and so my plan was to like try to get someone soon out of need. Yes. And then I was too overwhelmed to do that, and then by the time you were ready, it was like it just lined up. Yeah. And I'm so glad it did.
Yeah. Okay, Jenny. So speaking of which, I thought it would be fun if we shared our first impressions of each other. So what you thought when I first came to your house. I remember like having all my stuff in my Toyota Corolla and like showing up, and I remember like knocking on the door and like I was like, well, this person I'm about to meet, I've never met before, is gonna be my roommate for 3 months. And I was like, I hope we get along. I don't know. So
yeah, I don't think I was apprehensive really. Like I've lived in like hostile kind of situations for like months before. So I was like, even if it's weird, like I can handle it. Yeah. But you just seemed like, I just remember, I think like my first impression of you was just that you were like sunny and positive. Like you had good energy. Yeah.
So when I first met Jenny, like when I came in, she seemed like this like Ralphie he's hell bent on making an appearance on this podcast.
We should just let him.
Yeah, I feel like you should. There you go, Ralphie. That's right.
That's
buddy.
my cat, Ralphie.
Ralphie.
Don't touch the buttons.
Don't touch the buttons. Yep, Ralphie has he's just been hovering this whole time, and he knew when it was go time. He was like, I will make an appearance. So my first impression, I remember opening the door and you were littler than I was expecting. Jenny's like this tiny little person. She's so cute. She's like this tiny little person. And she just is so easygoing. So I think one of the first things that struck me is how incredibly go with the flow and chill you are. So I feel like I could have been like, Jenny, I'm starting a rock band, and so I'm gonna need to put heavy equipment in my room and a drum set. And she'd be like, okay, that's cool. I mean, that might not be real, but that was how it felt. And I still feel like after being here for almost 3 months, that's one of the things I love about Jenny is she's very, very easygoing, not really, not judging of things, and just very go with the flow, which is fun, and it makes it easy to live with.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's people who would start a rock band that I would be resentful of.
Yeah.
If I wasn't comfortable saying so, I would just hold resentment. But I feel like you're mindful and considerate. So if you wanted to start a rock band, I just know you would be considerate about when you practice. So I like to think that I'm easygoing, but I also think you make it easy to trust that you're going to be considerate.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so that brings us, I think this is an awesome segue. So Jenny and I are mimosaing today. So we do this thing we call Mimosa Sundays. And it's basically like a celebration Sunday. So I think this fits well because the reason we do this, one of the coolest things about Jenny is not only is she really laid back, but when I come with crazy ideas, 90% of the time she's like, okay, I'll do it. I'm giving her homework things, or I'm like, Jenny, starting next week on Sundays, we're going to do celebration Sundays where we collect all week. We collect our wins. So we have it on the fridge. It's like a sheet of paper, and Jenny is the bottom half and I do the top half. And we just collect our wins, personal, professional throughout the week. And then on Sunday, we make mimosas and we cheer, we read our list and we cheers each other and we celebrate. And she was totally game for it. She wasn't even that sounds weird, or no, I have better things to do. She was like, okay. And then, so then we've done it now probably 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good tradition.
Yeah, so we've started some fun traditions as roommates, and this is one of them. So we decided it would be fun to record this podcast while we were mimosing. So we cheers our Sunday list right before we started recording. And now we are imbibing mimosas as we go. Yeah. But yeah, so that's one of the things I love about Jenny is that I can have these crazy ideas. And I'm like, Jenny, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start a burning ritual where we write down all the things we're letting go and we'll burn it. And Jenny will be like, okay, that sounds fun.
But that's what I like about you is I love your ideas.
Yeah. Do you see why we're such a good fit as roommates?
These are great ideas. They're fun. What else am I going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. And I mean, we're both life coaches. So I feel like we just have the things we think are fun. We have
we have a lot of overlap.
And yeah, there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah. Even today, normally we do mimosas with orange juice or orange pineapple juice. And I was like, Jenny, do you like grapefruit juice? And she's like, yeah, I like grapefruit. And I was like, great, because we're doing grapefruit mimosas today. She's like, okay. But it's just whatever, oftentimes whatever I'm into, you're into, or we're not so opinionated on that thing that we can just go with
or
it.
It's just enough not overlap that it's I'll do hip hop fitness. I'll try it. There's just enough. I feel I mean, at least in my case, I feel you get me to try things I wouldn't normally, but it's not super outside my comfort zone. Yeah. And
I feel what Jenny does for me is she gets me out of the house. Because you'll be like, hey, do you want to go for a walk at Carrier Park? Or, hey, I'm going out to brunch. Do you want to come? Or, hey, I'm going to go to this thing. Do you want to come? And I feel a lot of times I think it's easy, especially, sort of my previous self, loved to overwork and always be working. And so I think it's great for me to have a roommate that does other things to invite me to do things so that I stop working and actually like live a life and get to know Asheville because of that as well. So that's been like pretty good too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah, I think we make
Get a roommate.
pretty good. Yeah, I'll get a roommate. Don't be afraid of a roommate. Okay, Jenny, one more game. Let's do 3 words, or it could be a phrase that you would use to describe your roommate. And I can go first if you want. Or we can go back and forth. What would you prefer?
At least start.
Okay.
Start.
All right. So one thing about Jenny is subtly strategic. So when you meet her, she seems super like laid back, and she's, you know, like into crystals like I am, and even more so, I think you know more about that stuff than me. And like she has like oracle cards and stuff, and like it's so fun. It's so fun. And you just like assume, I incorrectly assume, it's like Jenny's like la la la. But like her brain is doing a lot of really strategic processing. In fact, something Jenny doesn't talk about is like she built a business that made 6 figures, like using Upwork primarily, right, to find work. And she wrote a book about it. And it's like the way her brain can tear things down to like pieces and then like re-put them together to make them work. It's like, I just didn't know that. And I feel like it's really subtle. Like she brings it out when she has a challenge, when she's like, oh, challenge accepted. I will dominate this, but you wouldn't necessarily know it if you just met her because she's so like, I know, it's true. So that's one I would say, like it's subtly strategic. Go ahead. What do you got? You got one for me?
I like that. I feel like you're a glass half full person. Half full. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think I have a habit of seeing the glass as half empty. And like you're just very positive and like you can always reframe things in like a really positive way. And yeah, that's something I really appreciate, and it's been good to be around. And like that's what, like when you said, hey, let's like write our wins down every week and celebrate on Sunday, it was like yes, because like I know gratitude is good for me. It's good for everyone. We all need to practice it. Like I'm so grateful that that's like in my life more than it was before. Yeah. And
yeah,
really great. Yeah,
I like that. It's super. I think that's part of what works for us is you are totally game for the stuff that like I'm into, and so you use that to like grow and stretch. And like I feel like you are into similar things but different things, and like it's just a nice balance of when I have an idea, you're like, hell yes, I'm very supportive of that idea. And it makes my idea more fun for me because like you want to come along, and then you have ideas that are interesting to me and they're like a different part of my life that I maybe, you know, like wouldn't embrace as much, but I think we're a nice complement. So actually that lines up with the second thing I would say is that I think as a human, if you care about someone or like someone, you're really supportive. So Jenny is like super supportive. Like I could come to her and be like, Jenny, I saw this person in the ice cream store and they triggered me, and I like smacked the ice cream cone out of their hand and I stepped on it and I called them an asshole. And Jenny would be like, you know what, you were triggered and it's okay. Like, what could you learn from this? But like also they were probably being an asshole because you wouldn't just call someone an asshole for no reason. And I'm like, yeah, right, Jenny. I'm not crazy. I'm not. And so I just love though, like, I just love how supportive you are. And I see you do that for many people in your life. But it's like, if you want to feel understood or even just validated, like in your feelings, not necessarily in your actions, but just in your feelings, like I think you do a really good job of not judging, which I think is part of what makes you a really great roommate. It's like, not a harshness. Yeah. There's like a lot of acceptance that you have that you bring into like your connections with other people.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It feels good that I can do that for other people because I don't think I used to be that way, but then like I had a couple experiences where someone was able to do that for me, and it just meant a lot to me, and I like wanted to be more like that.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
So, something else about you. I think you're really good at naming things. Like when I'm having trouble like articulating something, like you name it in a really clear way. And I'm like, yes, thank you. You see it. I couldn't say it, but you saw it and you said it.
Yeah.
So what I couldn't find the words for. And it all again, like it's in a very like non-judgmental way. Like you don't like assign like good or bad. You're just like
it's like neutrally observational.
Yeah, just like observational, like a mirror. And I think that's what makes you a great coach and a great roommate and probably, you know, a great aunt and all the things. So yeah, just like the way you can name things that people are having trouble putting words.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Nice. Okay. I like it. All right, last one. Jenny to me is so earthy. So I am not earthy at all. I'm like, I kill plants, not on purpose. If I see a spider, I want to smash it. I'm like, I'm not so into, you know, meditation stuff. I try, I dabble in it, but I'm not so. But I feel like Jenny's like saged our house. She has crystals. She has, it's like we live in a forest sometimes. Like there is a fern that is currently not inside the house, but the fern, I call it the dinosaur fern because like it
Like as big as me.
like Ralphie the cat could literally play hide and
like
seek
lives
for
in
days.
it.
Yeah, he like lives in the fern. And that's like one of many. And so I think it's been really interesting to have like Jenny would prefer to not wear shoes. Like if you could just not wear shoes, right? Like she wants to be connected to earth and grounded in it at all times. And I am much more of a city girl. So it's really funny to have a roommate that's so earthy. And like this morning, this was huge for me. I told you about this now. I tried to put a brand new roll of toilet paper on the hook. And when I picked it out of the basket, there was an MFing spider hanging out on the roll of toilet paper. And my first instinct was to just literally smash the roll of toilet paper, step on it, do whatever I had to do to obliterate the spider. And then I was like, I feel like Jenny would be disappointed in me and she's teaching me better than that. So I like walked it outside and I like shook it over the railing and sent it off into the yard. And I just hope that it doesn't have like a really sort of like a vendetta against me now that I've separated it from its home and like come back and kill me in the middle of the night, which is what I'm truly afraid of, but whatever. But having a roommate that is really like so earthy is like really interesting because I'm not. So I'm like seeing Jenny's plants and I'm like, oh, this is how one takes care of plants. And I don't know, like it's just really, it's really different. It's like a different way of being than I know, but it's kind of like fun to observe and be around.
Yeah. It's funny to hear you say that I'm earthy. Like I take it as a compliment, but I don't think of myself as earthy just because there are people who are so much more than me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Jenny. Like
yeah. Like, you know, there's people who go gather their food for dinner and like especially in Asheville. Like, but I don't think of it as like intentional. Like I just don't like shoes. I don't think of it as like I want to be connected to the earth today. But I guess I do. I just don't think about it.
You were a wood nymph in a past life.
Yeah.
Like, let's just own that. Like, even your hair now, like, you know, it's like this wavy, long. She's like very low maintenance about it. Yeah. You know, it's like there's not like a lot of products. Like, there's really not products like Moroccan oil or something.
Yes.
Yeah, just Moroccan oil. So all of that to say, it's like, I think just in a past life, you were of the forest. And it's like, you don't have to think about it too much in this life. You're just like,
I was a spider. Yeah.
Maybe, I know.
Yeah. But I'm so proud of you because I think like you sensed that I was earthy and there was a spider that you wanted to kill and you like asked me how I would feel about that.
That's true, I did.
And I was like, I'm not going to judge you with this spider. I prefer to put them outside, but like sometimes they're just extra creepy and I kill them too. Like sometimes I just don't like its vibe, you know?
Yeah.
The spider has a bad vibe. The spider, I don't like its vibe. But yeah, like I don't even notice spiders, I feel like. And like if there's a spider in my house, Katrina will tell me about it.
I will.
And I'll just be like, spiders are good for creativity and they just we weave a web and like wait for their intuition to catch something. So what can we learn from this?
It's true. These are real conversations that we're
What
having.
can we learn from this spider?
When I walk outside, like lots of days when I walk outside, if the sun is shining, you can see like the freaking like labyrinth of spider webs that have like wrapped around our deck, and they like marry up with the plants outside. And I'm always like, you guys are so lucky that Jenny lives here, because I will like count. I'll be like 1, 2, 3, and be like, all you MFers would be dead. You would be dead if this was mine. But like, I try, and I'm like, I will coexist with you, and I will let you live as long as you do not come for me. But there is this, I just want to say, there's a spider that tried to come for me in my bedroom, and like, that is not okay. Like, that is my sacred space.
Boundaries.
Boundaries, right?
Boundaries.
Yes, boundaries.
Yeah. So yeah, you're just accepting spiders more as long as they respect your boundaries.
Yeah. And some of them don't, most of them do. All right, Jenny, you gotta finish this up.
One thing about you.
Yeah, last thing.
There's so many things. I mean, you're just, I think, a very growth oriented person. Like the spiders are an example where you like challenge yourself, you know, and I think you do that with a lot of things. And like, you don't assume that you know everything or that you know best. Like, you're very humble. And yeah.
Does that negate being humble if I pat myself on the back?
No.
See, do you see the support? She's like, no, it doesn't.
Self-confident. Humble and confident. That's a good mix. Yeah. So yeah, I think you're laid back and easygoing also.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, okay, there's spiders. Like, let's explore that. Let's explore that. Yeah, so I think you're just, you're open-minded, and you challenge yourself.
Yeah. So meet my roommate Jenny, y'all. Like, this is Jenny. She's pretty fantastic. And I don't know, I think like for our first episode, we wanted to kind of just introduce you guys, and introduce you to each of us. And then also, like I said, I've gotten questions about who you are and how we ended up here and like why I'm in Asheville. So we wanted to answer those questions. But if you guys are digging the podcast and you have more questions, we would love to know what you would like us to either answer or talk about. We're totally, like, literally open for business, like anything is fair game.
Free life coach advice.
Yeah, we both are life coaches, so you can get some free life coach advice. It could be like a question you want to ask. So I'm a little more on the creating your dream life spectrum, as far as like I help people take and plan sabbaticals and career breaks. I also help some people transition out of more conventional careers that are sort of misaligned with who they are. And Jenny, you have several pursuits. There's like the creative stuff, the BPD relationship stuff, like what?
Yeah. The gnarly stuff.
Yeah.
The gnarly stuff.
I'm like light and rainbows. I'm like, let's go travel. Let's take time off. And Jenny's like, tell me the deep, dark parts, and
let's get into the demons and the shadows and the gnarly stuff. Yeah.
Which is fun. Again, interesting compliments. So we're totally open if you have like coaching questions, or if you just want to know things about us, or if you want us to answer questions about each other. It could be fun. So anyway, just let us know. And I think we're gonna do a couple more of these while I'm still here, and then we don't know. It kind of depends on if you guys are digging it. So let us know if you like it, and we'll be back next week. Cool. All right, can we cheers us out? Cheers. Okay, cheers. And cheers to you guys too. Thanks for joining us. Bye, everybody.